What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with something a little bit different here. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update to what the folks over at Varsity Football have been working on, as they just released that June update for the 2022 calendar year. So hope you guys are excited for that, and just, looking for eventually something different than Madden, something from EA Sports. If you're someone that has been dissatisfied with how EA Sports has been conducting themselves as of late, and want to eventually give another game a chance. So if you're one of those people, definitely want to tune in, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you happen to be brand new. And like I said, 4 different updates from the folks over at Varsity Football for the June 2022 edition, as we'll go ahead and jump right into it. First thing that they talked about is the gameplay, and of course the gameplay is one of the most important things to any video game. It doesn't matter how pretty a game looks or how much time is put in, what the budget is. If the game is not fun to play, it's gonna be hard to repeat playing said game and coming back to it. That's why NCAA 06 as well as NCAA 14, for all the flaws that it has, people still want to play that all those years later because of the solid gameplay. Now, what the folks over at Varsity Football have been working on, they do have a passing skeleton with the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and DBs, and that's kind of just working on the passing patterns, working on route trees for the wide receivers, as well as how DBs would react to send routes that the wide receiver is going to run. Now, it's a base foundation. They're still using placeholder assets. It's in the early stages, but the foundation is there, and that's a huge thing, because that gameplay attribute definitely being taken seriously. And speaking of taken seriously as well, school depth. They talked about from the beginning that they want this to be a really unique experience, given that this game is going to be based on high school football as well. We have not seen anybody really attempt it at a major level. We saw bits and pieces of it in the NCAA games, but a dedicated high school football game, that's not something that we've ever seen before. And each school district are going to have a different feeling depending on where you end up coaching for your high school career. It's going to have, different expectations that the athletic director is going to have, the financial priorities that a school district has. Not everyone invests everything that they have in the football programs. And of course, like, different weather patterns as well. Like what you get in Southern California is not what's going to be happening in Northern Wisconsin. So just small things like that make the game feel a little bit different. And I really love that, because it's going to make this Dynasty that Varsity Football is eventually going to put out, it's going to make it feel alive. And I'm really excited for how this will continue to evolve as these folks over at Varsity Football are continuing to work on that game. Now, as for the other things that Varsity Football has been working on so far, they've been working on some artwork as of right now, doing some different things that will appear in the stadium. And we're talking about different types of scoreboards, uprights, pylons, first down markers. Again, just trying to make the high school experience look unique. Not every high school football stadium is going to look exactly the same. It's not a huge detail, especially for the first iteration. I mean, even if all the high school stadiums are the same for maybe the first time around, I truly don't mind that. I really like that they are going to really work on that type of stuff, and that attention to detail is something I really admire from this game dev company. And then finally, the personality archetypes. Every person, whether it's a player, a coach, or one of the parents that you have to go ahead and deal with. Now, this is high school football. Remember that they're going to have different types of personalities. And what that means is you have to find different ways to deal with different people. I have the feeling that, based off of what I'm seeing right now, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. And that's okay. That means that it's going to be more creative. It's going to make things more challenging in terms of navigating as a high school football coach, whether you decide to simply be an assistant or whether you go ahead and decide whether you want to go ahead and be a head coach off rip. These are, small things that, for first alliteration for an indie game, that's really nice things that I do really love to see. Now, in a previous video that I was talking about varsity football, I talked about the possibility about this game being released this year. That's not going to happen. Maybe sometime next year. We'll have to wait and see, which I'm perfectly fine with that, because I would rather the game devs take their time and make sure that a game is polished and things look good and deliver a good product to us than have a rush product, have a botch launch. Maximum Football 2020 really had a big opportunity with just how poorly received Madden 20 was. If you guys remember, keep in mind, the hate that Madden 20 ended up receiving, it was so bad that it was trending on Twitter. And this was also during a global pandemic that was originally starting, and that was also when we really saw some deep unrest in this country, in terms of the Black Lives Matters protests. Now, regardless of where you stand on that, I mean, these are important things, and still, Madden was on there, trending along with those topics on Twitter in a negative way, right? And Maximum Football, unfortunately, was some things that are out of their control and some things that they could have done a little bit better in the past. Maximum Football kind of fumbled the bag. They had a chance to make a dent in the market, and it just didn't work out. So I'm cool with varsity football taking their time. But what do you guys think? How do you feel about this development update? What are you most excited about? And what's something that you would want to see the most in a high school football game? Let me know down in the comments section. And of course, if you guys enjoyed my commentary on this month's development update for varsity football, do me a favor, guys, smack that like button, even hit the subscribe button if you do happen to be brand new. Not only do I kind of do some analysis of gaming news for EA College Football, Madden, ACSA football, as well as Maximum Football in this game specifically, but on top of that as well, I do have my own gaming series, not only on NCAA 14, but also on NCAA 06. So if that interests you as well and you're new to the channel, I encourage you to check that out. But in the meantime, though, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. But I'm hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.